Oh, hang on, there's a tree. Welcome back to what is becoming a bit of a tradition, my recap walk through the woods. Except it's not yet my recap walk through the woods. The intro I filmed on my walk did reveal my summer plans, and I realised that I think they deserve a video by themselves rather than sort of being tagged into this recap video, which itself also needs to be its thing. So I hope you enjoy this video, and if you do, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, please put them in the comment section below, and please subscribe, because next week I will be finally revealing my summer plans. They're very exciting, so please keep watching. Okay, let's start with a quick overview of Trinity term this year. In French, we studied Traversée de la Mangrove, a relatively modern novel by Maryse Condé, in the first 2 weeks of the term. And then after that, we got straight into revision. We had revision sessions on each of the texts that were going to be in our exam, and we also had a session to help us decide what we want to do this coming year. Oh my word, lots of trees. So initially we just have to pick a period paper. So we either need to pick to do medieval, early modern, or modern literature. I picked medieval, but that was essentially all the work we did in class during the term for French literature. In terms of grammar and translation, we were doing a lot of the same things we've been doing for the rest of the year. And yeah, so in the exam, we had to write 3 essays in 3 hours, as you probably know if you watched my previous videos. I did them on La Châtelaine de Vergy, Traversée de la Mangrove, and Indiana. I didn't do one on Les Liaisons Dangereuses, but I did revise for that. So yeah, now let's go to Spanish. So in Spanish this term, we studied La Fiesta del Chivo by Mario Vargas Llosa. It's a dictatorial novel about Trujillo. I think Rafael Trujillo, his full name, or I mean there are middle names, but you get the idea. He was the dictator in the Dominican Republic during much of a significant amount of the 1900s. It's a relatively modern novel again, sort of written in the 1990s. And then we also studied Antonio Machado and Campos de Castilla, a collection of poems written in the 1910s. I didn't really find them that interesting, but I did enjoy La Fiesta del Chivo. And after about week 3, week 4, we started looking at revision for Rinconetti Cortadillo, which we did in the first term, El Médico de su Honra, which we also did in the first term, La Fiesta del Chivo, and Campos de Castilla. I mainly focused on the first 3 because I really didn't want to write anything on Campos de Castilla. In the exam, I wrote 2 essays, one on Rinconetti Cortadillo and one on La Fiesta del Chivo, and I wrote a commentary for a passage in El Médico de su Honra. So yeah, that is Spanish. And now I'm going to just give a nice recap of how I found my first year at Oxford University. Okay, so my first year at Oxford, I enjoyed it. There were definitely difficult times. In Michaelmas term, in first term, I think just getting used to the sheer amount of work that I had to do, the new atmosphere, trying to make new friends at the same time as all of this, and not really knowing what to expect, just a sense of uncertainty around it all. It was so tiring, and things like having to rewrite a commentary, and just not being prepared, not feeling as though I had time to watch lectures or anything like that, just made that term quite unpleasant. And I was thinking for a time, am I going to be able to do 3 years of this? But then I went back in Hilary term after the Christmas holidays, in which I had pre-watched lectures in preparation, and that was the best thing I'd ever done, because I got to uni and I was able to worry about the work I had to do rather than lectures I had to watch to be able to do the work. The weather started getting a bit better, I started getting into rowing a bit more, and even though I did have to stay up late on several occasions during that term to get work done, it was really enjoyable. I really enjoyed that term. I felt as though I knew what I was doing a bit more. I felt as though I was able to keep up with the work. I was able to produce work of a high enough standard. So yeah, that was also the term in which my Spanish tutor, really liked my Lorca essay and said she would use it as an example for future years, which is surprisingly generous for an Oxford tutor. Also, I've heard, because yeah, they are really tough. They're really tough, as you would expect, I guess. But that just sealed off a really nice term for me. That was the last week I wrote that essay, and it was just great. I really enjoyed Hilary term. Then if we go into Trinity term, I've sort of been over what we did in French and Spanish literature. The grammar stuff, all the same. Translation stuff, I don't talk about that much, because it doesn't seem like that much of a bigger deal for me, because I've always been quite good at it. But Trinity term was just a bit rubbish. I mean, you've got exams looming at the end, and it just makes things quite unpleasant, really. So for the first 2, 3, 4 weeks, we were still doing content for classes. So just a normal research an essay, write an essay, hand it in, go to a tutorial, do another one for the next week. Very standard stuff. I got on with it. It was normal, quite happy to do that. Then it got to the point where we started doing revision in class for the exams, and this is when I just got a bit bored. I don't like revision. It's just doing stuff that we've already done again for an exam that I don't want to do. It's sort of, but that's life. So I got on with it. Once we got to about 6th week, and I stopped having to sort of prepare things for classes, and I wasn't really doing that much revision myself in my own time. I had about 3-4 days of literally doing nothing. I would go to any contact hours I did have, and then I would go back to my room and watch random videos on YouTube, or watch frankly awful Netflix series, or whatever it might have been. But I think I really needed that, because then once I'd had these 3 or 4 days of messing around, really, I really sat down and started revision in earnest. It was sort of in the library 4, 5, 6 hours a day, which might not seem like a lot, but I was there, and when I was there, I was doing the work. It wasn't I was there and I got a bit distracted by a friend waving at me from outside. It was I was there and I was fully focused for those 4, 5, 6 hours. And again, I was really focusing on the literature. So I was writing all these essay plans for all these books, and it was good. It then got to sort of my first 2 exams, which were the grammar and translation ones, which I did a tiny bit of revision for beforehand. After that, I sort of, it went out of the window again. By this point, my flatmates had all finished. I had lost the will to revise again. I'd already done a lot, so didn't really want to do any more. But I got through it. I did the last 2 exams online. If you've seen my video from last week, you'll know that they were not unpleasant. So at the end of the day, Trinity term was just a nice way to end things, I think, for the year. Not particularly exciting, but just got things done. I was getting really tired towards the end, and I've been home for 5 days now, and for those 5 days I've just spent it doing enjoyable things. Ooh, nearly slipped over. I've just spent it doing enjoyable things like meeting friends from school and really just lollocking around on the sofa, really. So I've had a couple of my books arrive that for French that I'm gonna have to start reading for next year. One of them's like 1100 pages long, which is horrible, but it is sort of original medieval French with the modern French translation, so we can technically split it in half. But yeah, that is sort of a general look at my first year at Oxford University studying French and Spanish. If you want any more detail on earlier terms, I recommend you check out previous recap videos. I'll link them down below. And if you want some extra info on sort of the rowing I've done this term, then I recommend you check my Summer 8 recap video. This is dangerous. That I put out a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Especially if you've liked seeing me try not to fall over and over again, trying not to trip over some roots. If you have any comments or questions about what I've just been through, anything about Oxford in general, please put it in the comment section below, and subscribe, because I've got some exciting stuff coming up. I'm going to start doing some videos on the application process to uni, focusing mainly on Oxbridge stuff and mainly on humanities, I think, because that's what I know. So yeah, stay tuned.